Greetings, everyone. Well, just because I'm feeling like I want to, I'm going to put just a little bit more time into this just so I can turn the page in my sketchbook. So, nothing too serious. Sometimes, your doodles are fun and it benefits your mind to just let them come to a conclusion. You can revisit stuff, but sometimes while it's kind of fresh in your head, it's just better to kind of finish it off. So let's take a slight zoom in on this. We'll try to lock it in a little bit because me and technical difficulties go hand in hand. I'm just doing kind of like a rough outline here. Not trying to be super serious with outrageous lines. I'm going to let them be wavy, like, this is a hand-made snowman. And we're okay with it not being perfectly smooth. It happens like this once in a while, don't you think? You're just like, oh, well, what do I want out of a drawing? So, while it's in my brain, might as well finish it up. Now, in all my rambling with the Yeti, I didn't say if I ever saw such a thing. I have, that wasn't for dramatic pause, by the way. I have seen people at mountains wearing fur coats, which is kind of wacky. But not skiing. So that exists. There are people like that out there. You gotta go someplace to be seen. I'm just squiggling in some yarn here because why would my bonhomme, my good guy, wear a white scarf? Why would you do that? So we're gonna not let the snowman wear a white scarf. See that? We're good to you, snow dude. Now, there's got to be a reasonable explanation as to why we've seen like really terrible photographs of Bigfoot or Sasquatch. There's got to be a reason, right? And nowadays, people have better cameras. So I've seen like some footage of somebody with a friend they think that, you know, they visit frequently. And yeah, I don't know what to think of that. Because, you know, if these are intelligent creatures, in what ways do they communicate? Do they have their own language? I don't know, just a funny sort of thought. But I think they got to leave them alone. Like, just say to everybody, yeah, you know what? These creatures exist, and let's preserve them in some way, so they don't have to be tracked down by the rest of us. We don't need to study them for scientific purposes. It's just a bit of cruelty, I think. Okay. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. This is just to kind of finish off the concept in my brain. For me, squiggling in some bark here. When I was a little kid, I used to do some pretty unusual snow sculptures. Nothing like, you know, Calvin and Hobbes. But still. Snow forts. I've made a few. Yes, that's right. You're going with a thumbs up because that's what I like to do. It's embarrassing sometimes to be so predictable. Not embarrassing for me, though. I like it. That glove almost looks like a boxing glove. That's why I just got this really funny thought. You know, if you had that string attached so you didn't lose them, it's better if you have a coat though. But what I will do is I'll leave a little hook here. a little tiny carabiner. A little plastic one. That's often what comes with those things anyway. If you know what I mean. So yeah, well, no, I think that's going to be the run of it. I might take a moment here and smooth out the arm. And maybe I'll darken the nose just a little bit too. All right, let's get some water. And let's take care of this nose immédiatement. Immédiatement. Bien, bien. Now, let's get this wondrous arm. Although in a lot of ways I like the look of it, so I'll probably leave just a little bit like that. A little bit underneath here, so we know that two parts joined together, not so serious. And a little bit under the scarf up here. A little bit there. A little bit here. So that wasn't so bad, was it? If you remember, there was a point where I was going to cast a shadow underneath the nose, and it just didn't want to go the way I wanted it to. So I did a bit of a rescue on that. Final thing. A few little dots here like this. A bit more little dots here like this. A few little dots around there like so. And a little bit around here. And that way, when the brush and water comes along, I can drag out those little dots just a little bit and fill in that mitt. Which I could have pulled from, the outside lines, but I don't want it too dark in there. I'll do a little bit like that. For the most part, we're just going for kind of a smudgeries. Smearing a little bit in there. Oh yeah. All right. 3 parts to that. I don't think it needs to go any further than that. I think that's pretty fun. And I'll back that out. We'll look at that just a little bit, see if there's anything else that I need. I could write Sassy Sasquatch up there and, you know, oblivious snowman or gullible snowman or whatever, but the fact that this isn't really a Yeti, because, you know, when you see Yetis, they're usually with white fur. So this is more Sasquatch, so not so abominable snowman and friend, who's actually a snowman. So that's ridiculous enough. Last thing, because why would we need to have such pale hands, my friend? Why? In the very least, we'll add a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Huh? Yeah, no, I think that's not bad, friends. Well, I think we've done all that we feel like doing with that. I think that's actually not bad. Anyway, yeah, well, feel free to comment. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And if you like, you can make a few suggestions on, you know, what kind of wacky things we can all draw together next time we get out our sketchbooks. So, yeah, that is it. All right, pen is getting put down. You have a wonderful day, everyone.